I don't know if you had this wine before. That's our I Block by Robert Mondavi Winery. So we always like to start with a white wine, but Schrader doesn't technically have, a white besides the Double Diamond Sauvignon Blanc. So we start with this very special Sauvignon Blanc from Robert Mondavi Winery. So I Block is a small block, 5 acres in Tokalon Vineyard, and those vines were planted in 1945. So this year they're going to celebrate their 80th anniversary, which is some of the oldest vines of Sauvignon Blanc planted in North America. We worked on this particular wine and was completely inspired by Pouilly Fumé. And he tried this technique here, so barrel aging this Sauvignon Blanc for up to 8-9 months, some new oak and some neutral oak. And what we also do is aging on the lees. And that's also going to started those tastings in August 23 when we moved here. And it's one of the first time actually you can try the Schrader cellars. Because before that, you had no
way to
taste,
access
no
it unless you were got off the list. I was
305, is that correct?
Yeah.
And then Heritage Clone, maybe it's 350. Okay. So very, to me, I think
there's more expensive with less cred out there right now.
Even the Old Sparky, actually, it's $8.95, I think, for the Magnum.
Okay, that's actually.
Well, it only comes Mag, right?
That's correct.
We had a dinner with Old Sparky back in Florida, the 07 Mag, and it was really tasting really well. It was very nice. Yeah.
They're quite amazing. And sometimes we actually open some old vintage of the Old Sparky. Mm-hmm. We tried some 03, 04, 07, 08. And they were quite amazing. Still very fruity. And one is our Schrader. Doesn't really have a specific acronym or name. And as you probably know, for Schrader, it's always pure cab for each label. But we want to focus on one specific clone of Cabernet Sauvignon.
Is this still Thomas Rivers Brown?
Yes. Yes, so since 2000, Thomas Rivers Brown has been our winemaker. The brand was founded in 1998 by Fred Schrader. And the first 100 points actually was in 2007. And I would say that's probably when everything kind of really started for Schrader, popularity and everything. But as of today, we have 40 100 points for Schrader, which is quite impressive. It's a lot. And we have obviously a lot of the Tokalon fruit, but you're going to see with the slides, we're also sourcing some of the grapes from Stagsville District with the Wapo Hill.
Wapo Hill.
Yeah, we have some Wapo Hill. They're all 22s, and we start with the Schrader, which is a clone number 15. Quite a beautiful fruit on the first nose. The 22, as you probably heard, was kind of a challenging year across the valley. It was just really warm in the spring. So we get lower yield in 22, a lot of concentration, sometimes kind of jammy as well.
Okay, and then I look. Oh wait, no, Schrader. Wait a minute. Hey, so the Double Diamond, is that part of the Schrader brand?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and that was that before. Did it happen when Constellations bought the company, or was that something that they were doing before? You know.
That's a good question. I'm not quite sure. I believe they started before Constellation, but I can double check to make sure.
What was the thought behind it? I mean, I guess part of it's price point, right?
It's their entry level one,
right?
Money maker.
Yeah, no, and one that obviously it's still.
It's a very good one. I totally agree.
Do you have any of that?
Yeah, so I probably have some Double Diamond if you'd like to try it, for sure. It's a 2021 vintage.
Okay.
Because the 2019 is completely gone after the Wine Spectator number 1.
What, 100?
Right, up to 2 years.
Yeah.
So you had to get the Double Diamond first.
That's right.
Got it.
So you have access to the second label of Schrader. So it's basically 75% of Tokalon fruits, but we source from the younger vines of To Kalon. It's pure cab, and it's a perfect everyday Schrader, basically. It's Thomas behind it
Okay.
for $90.
No. Dated Greek girl though.
Wow,
What's
To Kalon.
It's Greek.
Oh, Tokalon, yeah.
It means the highest beauty in Greek.
Ah,
Yeah.
that's what she would call me.
Wow.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Weird, yeah.
That's your nickname.
That's your nickname?
We'll just call you Toki.
So,
Toki.
You should have asked about Old Sparky instead.
Well, no, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Done,
Yeah, no.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm just
You wouldn't
looking.
happen to have a bottle of Old Sparkling laying around.
Oh no, I'd rather have the double diamond. There you go. You know, I'm just being a realist. Guess you're biased.
They don't do any
know me that
discounts.
well yet, Brian. So you're gonna have to wait for a
Mhm.
minute.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Double diamond.
Okay.
I'm sure you can contact
Okay, so your name again?
Aline.
Elaine.
Aline.
Elaine.
Aline.
All right, what do we have? We have Wapo Hill.
We have Wapo Hill. So Stags Leap District. It's a 2022 vintage. Wapo Hill is a vineyard that is a bit elevated in Stags Leap District. And we have 300 acres in this area. We source some of our Sauvignon Blanc, but also the Cabernet Sauvignon. Still, the 2022 seems really fruity, but I also got some spice into it, like little cloves and quite complex and still very approachable. I know that the 22 for for many wineries in the valley, it was a little challenging, but I think for us, just because of our style, we ended up having a quite amazing vintage.
So pretty hot that year, right?
Yeah, so in the spring, I believe it was in June, and it went up in the 90s.
So yield kind of sucked, but what got left was like very amazing, concentrated.
That's right, concentrated, quite amazing. It depends on the clone. Selects 3 different blocks in To Kalon Vineyard and decide that those 3 blocks are the best of the year. Blend them together and release it under Old Sparky, which is always in a magnum form.
Oh, cool.
So that's the exceptional years. That's the best of To Kalon Vineyard, and people really love it.
So there are years.
That was in
What do we
2003.
have next?
Next is the Monastery Block. So Monastery Block is a small block in To Kalon Vineyard, and I have this little map if you want to look at it. So this is To Kalon Vineyard. It's about 600 acres. You have the Highway 29 here. This is Robert Mondavi Winery, and here is the Welcome Napa Valley sign. So that's where it starts, and all the way to the west, where you have Mayacamas mountain range. Monastery Block is just right here, and it's probably where we find some of the best grapes in To Kalon Vineyard. Some of the oldest vines too, but everything is kind of ideal in this area. So for this Monastery Block, we're showcasing the clone 169, which is one of the premier French clone brought to California.
Put up on that. Okay,
The final one.
The final one?
It's the heritage clone. So heritage clone actually brings us back to the origin of To Kalon Vineyard. So that was correct. To Kalon is a Greek name for highest beauty. And Mr. Cram, who was the first one to plant vines in To Kalon Vineyard, renamed this land To Kalon after he discovered that the Cabernet Sauvignon will grow really well. He started to plant To Kalon Vineyard in 1868, and he started actually with basically 100 different grapes in To Kalon. He was trying to see which one would grow the best. It was really the beginning of the winemaking in Napa Valley. And he realized that Cabernet Sauvignon was really happy in To Kalon Vineyard. And that's when he decided to really focus on the cab. We also have some Bordeaux varietals planted in Tokalon, and also the Sauvignon Blanc and Semillon. But the heritage clone, actually, is a clone that we discovered recently thanks to UC Davis. So the UC Davis, they have two blocks in Tokalon Vineyard, and that was a donation from Robert Mondavi. So they have their program here in Davis, but they do a lot of research on different clones. And in the 80s, they work on the clone number 31. That's the clone we're showcasing in Heritage Clone. And they realized that this clone is only planted in Tokalon Vineyard. They couldn't find it anywhere else in any other appellation in Napa Valley. So we call it heritage, because the theory is that Mr. Crab, Hamilton Walker Crab, who was from Ohio and moved to California during the gold rush, when he discovered that the Cabernet Sauvignon was really growing well in Tokalon, he decided to travel to France. He probably stole this vine in Bordeaux,
Yeah, he put it in his bag. And
luggage,
traveled with it.
and
You know, but they used to do that quite a bit. They call it, there was a name for it. They would call it a
It's a
suitcase.
clone.
Clones, yes.
That's
yes.
correct. Yes, and he probably planned this clone himself in Tokalon, and that's why we can't find it anywhere else, because he didn't really mention anything about it.
They had less rules back then. So
Yeah,
you
one
didn't
other
have to
thing to
case
add. There's a beautiful
Less
wine.
rules, better life.
ARAP 5%. There's a beautiful wine that's made from the Tokalon wine company, and it's called The Highest Beauty.
That's right. Yes,
Fantastic
it's
wine.
beautiful.
And then there's another one that's called Eliza.
Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar?
Which is a blend, Cabernet
Which is a
Franc,
blend,
Cabernet
and that was
Sauvignon.
that was in one of my top 10 wines that I had last year.
Is it Cab Franc?
Oh, very nice.
Beautiful wine.
You
So
like the
cheers
Cab
and
Franc.
thank you.
Yes.